Waiting for somebody to come on. I usually give it about a minute. Oh, there's someone. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Let me know that you can hear me. Sometimes this microphone acts weird. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Write in the chat that you can hear me. All right, I'm going to get started. I see some people on here, so I'm just going to go ahead on and get started. If y'all can't hear me, y'all let me know, please. Okay. Anyway, tonight's word is pray. Now, I did this word because I had made a post a few years ago where I said that don't let the woke people tell you that prayer doesn't work. And I wanted to go into why I said that. Hi, Carl. I'm guessing that everybody can hear me. Okay, good. Oh, hey, what's up, V? Thanks for tuning in. So, the word pray. I'm going to be looking at the etymology of it. I'm going to look at it, what it means in the Bible, and I'm also going to do some word magic. I'm going to flip a couple letters around and show you what it means from a metaphysical perspective. Okay? So if you think that because that you're woke, you're so-called woke, that you're not supposed to pray, that's not true. And prayer, because if you're thinking that prayer means that you have to be down on the floor on your hands and knees with your hands folded and you're talking to some invisible God in the sky, and if you think that that's what's happening when you are praying, then that's probably why you think that you're not supposed to do it. But that's not really what prayer is. Okay? Prayer means, the etymology of it means, well, I'm sorry. Actually, in the Bible, it has a lot of different meanings, and I'm going to go over majority of them. But in the Bible, it means to request, to ask, to seek, and to make a petition. Let's stop there for a minute. Okay, so if pray means to make a petition, isn't that a word that's also used in the court of law? Don't we petition people to court in the court of law? Okay, so that right there lets you know that prayer has to do with the law. Okay, so we can scratch out the whole, oh, I'm not supposed to pray because I'm too woke. Because guess what? It's much deeper than what you're thinking that it is. Okay, so prayer has to do with writing a petition, number one. But I'm not going to get into that because I just wanted to bring it to the surface. Okay, so that's number one. But I am going to talk about, I'm going to back up what I just said, even by flipping the words around to let you know that prayer has to do with writing. And it doesn't have to be literally writing, although it could be literally writing. But you write, your pen and your paper is right here. Okay, you have a blank across your forehead, and you are creating. Every time you create a thought, you're creating words, which you're writing. You're writing to yourself right there. You're petitioning yourself right there. Okay. Now, prayer also means, or pray also means in the Bible. It also means entreat. Let me write it for you. You can see it. Yes, V, Fairy Trap Mother. I love that name. But prayer also means entreat. Now they changed the way that that's spelled because if you look up the etymology of it, it's not going to come up. But you can look up the word entreat with an E, and then it'll come up. Now that word means to discuss or arrange terms of peace. Basically, it means to have a discussion about we need to come to a middle ground so that we can be at a place of peace. Okay, so that means that pray also means to make peace. Okay, pray also means to make peace. The only person that you're ever really making peace with is yourself, because you're not even arguing with other people, although it looks like you're arguing with other people. It always goes back to something that you're dealing with on the inside of you. So pray also means to entreat, which means to make peace, and to make peace means to make whole. Okay, now I want you to remember that it means to make whole, because we're going to talk about later, we're going to talk about uh, doing it from a different perspective, praying from a different perspective. That word entreat also means to enter into a negotiation. So sometimes, this is why I say that when you're in your head and you're having conversations in your head, you are creating contracts with yourself or with God or the universe, whatever, however you want to look at it. You're creating contracts in your head that you're going to be held to, and you are negotiating with yourself. A lot of times you are trying to talk yourself into stuff, or you're trying to talk yourself out of something. Okay. So that's what prayer is. Okay, it's entering into that place of negotiating with yourself and kind of going back and forth with yourself. Yes, it does. Trust self. She said, does pray have anything to do with pray? I'm going to talk about that. Prey. I am going to talk about that. Okay. Now, again, let's talk about how pray has to do with writing. Okay, and this also has to do with the law of attraction. Pray has everything to do with the law of attraction, because it's how you talk to yourself. Now, remember, I said I'm going to write it so that we don't lose track, because I know I could go send myself down a whole rabbit hole with these words. I'm going to write it so that we don't lose track of what means what. Okay, because I'm going to show you how pray also means to drag. Okay, which is the same as writing. I'm just showing you how it all connects. Once you realize that everything is connected, then you will find ways to figure out how words really go from one to the other. So pray, remember I said pray means entreat, right? And they got to do with making peace. Now, entreat has the word treat in it, right? But ironically, the etymology of the word treat originally meant to drag. Isn't that interesting? That the word treat meant to drag. Now, drag comes from the word draw. And draw means to write. So that goes right with what I said earlier about how prayer is a petition, or you're writing something. You're writing it in your head. Okay? But consider that if it means to drag, that's the same as it lording something, or luring something, or attracting something, or pulling something. So that means prayer, or pray, also means to drag, which is how you pull things to you, which is how you attract things to you, because it's what you're saying to yourself in your head. Okay? That's all prayer really is. You're praying all day long. All the thoughts that you have in your head, that's still prayer. That's why I said you don't have to be in a position where you're face down with your hands folded and you're talking to this imaginary God in the sky. No, you're doing it all day while you're just having a regular conversation with yourself in your head. You're praying. Okay? Because it means to write or to draw. Okay, first time catching you. Hey, Trust Self, please make sure that you subscribe to my page. Thank you. Pray is pray. Believers get prayed up. Well, we're going to talk about that word pray. So I wouldn't say just believers get prayed upon, but I'm going to talk about pray, Prey, because believe is actually a good thing if you know how to use it to your advantage. Okay. Fairy Trap Mother said to sign a signature. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because signing a signature is all got to do with contracts. Because the contracts are happening in your head. And then they manifest externally, but they're happening in your head. Pray means to become prey. If you follow religion or any man-made stimulation, you are being drawn in. Okay, somewhat true, but maybe you should go back to the beginning of the video because I kind of touched on that already. How you're praying, you're praying all day when you're talking to yourself. Okay, it's way bigger than it being narrowed down to being religious because you're going to pray regardless whether you're religious or not. It doesn't matter if you're a Buddhist. It doesn't matter if you're woke. It doesn't matter if you follow Jesus or if you follow Allah. You are praying all day when you're talking in your head. You're praying. Okay. So the other thing, like what I just said, you are all day praying in your head. How do I know this? Well, just common sense tells me that. But outside of that, if I move these letters around in the word pray, I'm going to look at it backwards and flip that P upside down, and now it's yard. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. I'm sorry, y'all, that came to my head. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Anyway, pray is also the word yard. And what is a yard? The word yard means a garden. Oh, that word sounds familiar, like Garden of Eden. Where's the Garden of Eden at? Where's the Garden of Eden? I know you all know. So once we all figure out where the Garden of Eden is, then we know that that word has to do with where you go when you pray. Because you pray in a garden. Isn't a garden a place where seeds are planted? Where thoughts are planted? Seeds are thoughts. Seeds are words. Okay? So to pray is also to go into a garden. And I'm not going to tell you what a garden is. I know you know. That's why I'm not telling you. The word garden is also this word. This is how I know we're still talking about law. It's court. A garden is a court. Right? Doesn't that change the whole idea of what was really happening in the Garden of Eden? That means that it has to do with court. It has to do with judgment. It has to do with something being judged. Harris said, pray asking God for help before something happened you don't understand. Yes. Tana, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Ta'ana Winters said it's the mind or womb. That is precisely correct. The garden is the mind or the womb. They are the same thing. They mirror each other. So when you pray, you are really talking about what's happening in a garden, which is the mind. Okay? That's how we know that. And now we know that the garden is also the court. Because this is where judgment is taking place. In your head. Most of the time, I'm going to say all of the time, you're judging yourself anyway. You're judging yourself. Okay? My baby's listening. He said, you're talking about the brain. Wow! Now we know that the babies know, Fairy Trap Mother. The babies know. This is also the heart. That is correct. The court is also the heart. It's the core. It's the core. Okay? So think about that when you ever in a courtroom, then you know that you are dealing with something that has to do with the heart. That's where judgment also occurs. That's where memory is also stored. That's why when you go to any center of the city, which is the heart of the city, there you will find the city hall, the memorial records where things have to be recorded. Because the city represents the center of the cells. It's the same thing. Okay? So, the other thing that I wanted to share, okay, we're going to get into that word pray, P-R-E-Y, but I'm going over this way first, okay? Now, a yard, let's go back to the word yard. because I talked about it being judgment, but I like to back up everything that I'm saying so that it doesn't look like, oh, you're just making it up. Because if I can pull it from 3 different places, it's not a coincidence anymore, okay? It's not a coincidence. Now, a yard is also what? It's a form of measurement, correct? A yard is a form of measurement. Now, measurement is interchangeable with the word judge, because when you judge something, when you're judging something, you're measuring it. You're measuring to see how much it weighs, how big it is, how long it is, how other things, right? But yes, to judge also means to measure something. That's why these scales are the symbol of judgment, because they represent measurement. Okay? So that's how we can know that the yard also has to do with judgment, which again takes us back to court, which, like Fairy Trap Mother said, is really the heart. Okay? Or the mind. Those 2 words are interchangeable. Heart and mind are interchangeable. So let's go over this again. To pray. If we flip that around, that's also the yard. And yard is a form of measurement. And measurement is judgment. And judgment happens in a court. And a courtroom represents the heart and the mind. So therefore, pray is the heart and the mind. Right? That's where it's all happening at. Now, the word pray is also interchangeable. This is why I keep saying that it's the same as when you're thinking all day, you're still praying. You can't help but to pray. You can't not pray. It's impossible for you to stop praying unless you know how to completely turn your thoughts off. And if you learn how to figure that out, how to do that, come let me know, because it's like taming a wild forest up in there. It's animals running around crazy up in there. But anyway, the word pray is interchangeable with the word speak, meditate. So for the woke people, when you meditate, guess what? You're still praying. It's the same word. Okay? When you pray, it's interchangeable with the word meditate. It's interchangeable with the word talk. When you open up your mouth to speak, you're still praying. It doesn't have to be quiet. It doesn't have to only be in your head. When you open up your mouth to talk, you're still praying. It also means to commune, and it also means to imagine. So when you are in deep thought and you are imagining something in your head, you are still praying. Okay? Here's one more that it also means. It also means to complain. Pray also means to complain. Now let's go back to court. Because is that not a word that's used in the courtroom? You have a complaintiff. No, I'm sorry. You have a plaintiff, which really means the person that's complaining. The plaintiff is the person that's complaining. Okay? And then you have the defendant. But anyway, to pray also means to complain. So this is why now we're going to talk about the word P-R-E-Y. You see how it can work both ways, because if pray also means to complain, then this is when we're going to bring in the P-R-E-Y kind of pray. Okay? No one can really pray on you until you, well, I won't say they can't pray on you, but I think that you have to have a certain mentality to even entertain such a thing. Is somebody praying on you? You, first of all, like when women, like I'll talk about like self-realization of a goddess, which is a class that I teach about women's self-empowerment. But sometimes women will say, that men prey on them, and my response to that is, well, stop being prey. Stop being prey then, because prey is usually a wounded animal. Okay. a wounded animal. So heal your wounds, then you will no longer be prey. All right? But anyway, I said pray means to complain. Because now we're going to talk about how people prey on you. Pray means to complain. And to complain, what's happening when you're complaining is you make things come plain. You make things come. You make them come here. Come here. Everything I'm complaining about, come here. Make it happen. I need to see it in plain light. That's what happens when you complain. That's why I'm gonna suggest that you use gratitude no matter what's happening. Because it's always for the benefit and to help you learn something no matter what it is, no matter what. I don't care how harsh it is. I don't care how much it hurts. I don't care how long it's happening. And Lord, please help me, because when I speak these things, I get a test. if you're teaching something, guess what? The teacher has to be tested. When you're teaching and preaching about, you have to be tested on it. So whenever I do these things, oh, here comes a test to see, do you actually believe what you're saying? But anyway, yeah, so pray means to complain. And when you complain, you make things come plain. You make things come. You bring it to you. Okay? That's how people prey on you. Because you are complaining even when you're doing it in your head. So now you're creating scenarios to complain. So that's one way that pray also means pray. But let's go back to the writing. Well, first I'm going to talk about how the word prayer in the Bible, okay? In the Bible. This is why it's important to use a Bible dictionary when you're reading the Bible, so that you can see the other word that's interchangeable with that same Hebrew word, that same Greek word, and that'll expand your understanding of those scriptures. Okay, but prayer also means enchantment. Okay, it means enchantment and it means charmed. Now, here's what we're going to talk about the P-R-E-Y. Because enchantment means to perform like a magic spell. Let's see. Enchantment means, because I wrote it down, it means magic. It means witchcraft. It means a song. Enchantment means a song. Or it means a chorus, the chorus of a song. So let's think about this. The word pray is interchangeable with the word enchantment. And enchantment is interchangeable with the word witchcraft. So that means pray also means witchcraft. Okay? How can that be so? Because words cast spells. That's how that can be so. And that's how when people say, oh, people prey on you and all that other stuff, normally you're doing these things to yourself because you are the one that's feeding yourself words. And even the words that people say to you, you have a choice whether you're going to accept them into your subconscious. Once you swallow something into your subconscious, guess what? You just planted a seed and now a damn tree could grow out of that. So that's how people so-called prey on you. Now, like I said, the word pray also means, enchantment, which is the same as pray, also means a song or a chorus. Now, the chorus part of the song is usually the part of the song that repeats, right? So that means that enchantment happens by repetition. By you keep saying the same words to yourself. By you keep telling yourself that same story about how I can't do this, I can't do that, and I don't have this, and I don't have that, and keep telling the same story about how you was hurt by this person and that person and this person and that person. You are putting yourself under a spell. You are preying on yourself. You're preying on yours. That's right, trust self. Thank you. She said it's enchantment. It's I-N. That's right. So when you think that somebody put a spell on you, can't nobody put a spell on you that you didn't accept. If you are running around saying that somebody put a spell on you, that means that your mind took what somebody else said somewhere and took it into your subconscious and swallowed it, and you allowed them to plant a tree into your mind. That's what happened. Because like Trust Self just said, enchantment is N-I-N. That means it happens inside of you. So that means that enchantment also means witchcraft. Then enchantment has the word mint on the end of it. That means it has to do with the mind. It all goes back to the mind. It's all psychological. Okay? Prayer is psychology. Ain't nothing spooky about it. Prayer is psychology, it's psychological. So to think about, someone praying on you or doing witchcraft or putting a spell on you, put a spell on yourself. Do witchcraft on yourself. Put a spell on yourself. You have to build yourself up to the point where no one can have you swaying back and forth. They can't come in and interrupt your peace of mind or the relationship that you have with the source or God or the universe or the all or Allah or whatever word you would like to call it. No one should be able to come in and interrupt that. Why? Because you have preyed upon yourself. You have put yourself under a spell. Okay? Yes. Gazan du flow. So words are things, literally. Absolutely. Words turn into things. Okay, thinks turned into things. It's the same word. Think and thing is actually the same word. A G and a K are interchangeable. Okay, that's how you can know that you are creating things when you pray. And prayer is not only, like, this is the last time I want to say this, it is not only bowing down with your head to the ground in this position. You're doing, when you're talking, you're doing it. When you're thinking, you're doing it. When you're meditating, you're doing it. When you're imagining, you're doing it. Okay? So, I think I went over everything that I said I was going to go over. This is the last thing. Pray. The etymology of pray, P-R-E-Y, means that which is taken in war. So you become prey when someone, they call it booty, right? When someone, which is an interesting word by itself, but when someone takes over your land or takes over your possessions or takes over something that so-called belongs to you, because really nothing belong to you because everything is temporary. But anyway, someone takes over something in your possession, that thing becomes prey, P-R-E-Y. Okay, and it happens during a war. P-R-E-Y literally means that which is taken in war. Now the thing about the war is that the true war is you arguing with yourself. That's the true war. That's the only war that's actually happening. It's you arguing with yourself and you debating with yourself because you're not at peace with yourself, because you're not whole, which is why you need pray, P-R-A-Y, which is to help make you whole. Remember in the beginning, if you missed it, I said pray also means to entreat, and entreat means to negotiate to the point where you become whole. So you have to negotiate with yourself. Okay, where you come to the realization that you are already whole, perfect, and complete because you are one with the source. So don't forget that pray has to do with you being at war. You can lose your so-called possessions, which your true possession is only your mind. That's the only thing that you really have. All this other shit is make-believe. This is it. That's it. And once somebody can take over this, it's over. Until you get it back, until you take accountability for yourself, and have the understanding that you are creating your reality based on your prayers, which is your thinking process. Okay, let me see what y'all saying. I realized that what I should do instead of wasting energy on someone else while in here broken down. Get yourself together. Yes, Tamia. To not attract issues in your life. Yes. That is why you need healing. Healing is not just making pain go away. Healing is actually remembering that you are one with the universe and that you are already abundant and that you have everything that you need. You always have everything that you need. If you continuously pray on yourself and tell yourself that you always have everything that you need, then the universe doesn't have a choice but to manifest that shit because that's the law. It's bowing down to you. Okay? The fictional realm actually bows down to you, and what you say in your head is right, true, and correct. It took me a while to realize that to do self spells to heal your heart, let the revenge go. Yes, yes, Tamia. No problem. Please, y'all, make sure y'all subscribe to my page. If you like my videos, feel free to share them on your social media pages. I would love for you all to share the things that I teach on my page. The spoils of war, yes. Thank you, Fairy Trap Mother. Daryl bought them for me. My African earrings. All right, y'all. So yeah, the only thing I want to do is I just want to encourage you to pray, and I want you to pray on yourself. Cast spells upon yourself. Okay, do some magic on yourself. Stop running around doing love spells trying to attract men all the damn time. And I'm only saying that because I've done that. I'm never going to tell you anything that I haven't already done. And I'm not saying that it did or didn't work, but what I know what did work was when I started being more accountable for myself and when I started speaking life into myself. I know for sure that those things work. All right, y'all. Thank you for coming, and I see you next week. And as always, if there's a word that you want me to break down, please email me. Go on my Black Fire Nation website, right up at the top. My email is up there. Just let me know. Okay, subscribe to the page, and I'll see you next week. Peace.